right, so 4.1c lesson, we are ditching models. We're ditching them and now we're just starting to just solve equations. Okay, so solve both equations at the top there, you guys. There's a difference between them. There's a lot of similarities, but there's a difference. So you should be seeing a big giant fraction bar with an x plus 1 in the numerator here. And over here, it's just the x in the numerator. It's just a littler fraction, okay? So the first thing that you have to do on this problem is you would need to multiply the whole thing by 7. Okay, so you could write it as one big giant 7 with like brackets or parentheses around the whole thing, or you could write it like I did. Okay, now these 7s would cross cancel, leaving what's in the numerator equal to 28. Okay, and then we want to get that x. We want to get that x all by itself, so we would be subtracting 1 to both sides, and that would be x equal 27. Okay, now this guy, we want to get this x over 7 by itself. The first step is to get rid of this 1. The first step is to subtract on this problem. We'd be left with x over 7 equal to 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, now how do you get rid of divide by 7? Okay, the opposite, the inverse, is to multiply by 7. Okay, you can write it like this, or you can write brackets around the whole thing with 1 7 there. It doesn't matter. So the 7s would cancel. I'm left with x equal 21. Okay, now let's look at the check for both of these. Okay, the check for both of these, let me squeeze that in right here for this guy. All right, so I've got x plus 1 over 7 equal 4. So I'm going to have parentheses plus 1 over 7 equal 4. And in that parenthesis, I'm putting in this 27. Well, 27 plus 1 is 28 over 7 equal 4. And what's 28 over 7? 4 equal 4, that checks out. Okay, let's do a check on this guy. Okay, so we've got x over 7 plus 1 equal 4. Parenthesis over 7 plus 1 equal 4. Inside the parentheses, tucking in a 21. 21 divided by 7 is 3 plus 1 equal 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Is that equal to 4? Yes, it is. Okay, so what is the difference in your process for each? Okay, the one on the left needed to multiply first. Okay, the one on the right needed to subtract first. Okay, you couldn't subtract here because that's not a 1, that's a 1/7, isn't it? It's a 1/7 here. Okay, all right. All right, let's take a look at this guy. Solve each equation, be sure to check your solution algebraically. All right, so we want to try to get to the 6a. We're going to add 4 to both sides first. So this would end up being 6a equal negative 16 plus 4 is negative 12. Okay, now a couple ways you can look at this. If a is being multiplied by 6, you could divide by 6, or you could take 1/6. Same thing. A equals 1/6 of negative 12 is negative 2. Now to check this, 6a minus 4 equal negative 16. 6 parentheses minus 4 equal negative 16. Tuck in that negative 2 right there. Negative 12 minus 4 equal negative 16. Okay, negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16, but you may need to do this to see that. Negative 16 equals negative 16. Checks out. All right, this guy, we're trying to get to this. Look at this like this. We're trying to get to that negative 3x, so we need to get rid of this minus 10. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. These go away, and I'm left with this negative 3x. Okay, well, I want a 1x. So if I'm multiplying x by negative 3, wouldn't I be dividing that by negative 3? Okay, or I could be multiplying by the reciprocal of negative 1/3. Okay, so x equals 0 divided by anything is 0. Okay, let's do the check for this one. Negative 10 equal negative 10 minus 3x. Negative 10 equal negative 10 minus 3 parentheses. 0 goes in. Negative 10 equal negative 10 minus 0. Negative 10 equal negative 10. Okie dokie. And number 3 is just like that problem up on the top left that we did. We would have to multiply by 3 first in this problem to begin to get to this x. Okay, isn't this x plus 1 all over 3? This is a 1/3. Okay, so we're going to multiply the whole thing by 3. If you want to write it like this, you can write it like this. If it's easier for you to write times 3 times 3, then write it like that. It's the same thing, just a different look. Okay, all right. On this side, the 3 would cancel with this 3 in the denominator, leaving an x plus 1. The 2 times the 3 leaves a 6. Okay, I want that x alone. How do I get rid of a plus 1? I would add a negative 1, or I would subtract 1. That means the same thing. X equal 5. Okay, let's go ahead and check our answer. X plus 1 over 3 equal 2. Parentheses plus 1 over 3 equal 2. Throw a 5 in. 6 over 3 equal 2. Sure enough, 2 equals 2. I need to scooch that up. 6 over 3 equal 2, and then 2 equal 2. All right, this guy. This guy, we're going to go ahead. We need to remember back to module 3. And this half, negative a half, I should say, is going to distribute. Okay, so if I take half of 4x, that's 2x, but I need a negative on that. If I take half of 2, that's 1, but I need a negative on that. So there's my new and improved equation. You could very easily put negative 2x minus 1 here, if you'd rather. All right, I'm trying to get to this negative 2x. I'm going to get rid of this 1 by adding it to both sides. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Okay, now if x is being multiplied by negative 2, the inverse, the opposite, is to divide by negative 2. Couldn't we also multiply by negative 1/2? Isn't dividing by negative 2 the same thing as multiplying by negative 1/2? Most kids like to write it like that. And then that would be 1x equal positive 2. Okay, now the check for this is going to be a little bit uglier. Negative 1/2. You always check the original equation. So negative 1/2. Let me put like a line here so it doesn't get blurred in with that. Okay, so I've got a 4, and then I've got to tuck something in there, plus 2 equal, oh, I forgot the negative on the 5. All right, so I'm tucking in a 2 because of that. Okay, so I've got negative 1/2. 8 plus 2 equal negative 5. Negative 1/2 times 10 equal negative 5. Half of 10 is 5 with a negative. Negative 5 does equal negative 5. It checks out. Okie dokie. Number 5. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do number 5. 2 ways you pick. Okay, I'm going to show you kind of the tried and true way that I think most kids would do. Okay, the tried and true way would be this negative 3 distributes in. Okay, now please remember this is plus a negative 4. So that would be negative 3x plus 12 equal 6. Okay, and then we're going to subtract 12 to both sides. Negative 3x equals 6 minus 12. Think of that as 6 plus negative 12. That's a negative 6. Okay, and then we're going to divide by a negative 3 to make 1x. So 1x equals 2. Okay, or what would happen if I divided both sides by negative 3 to start this problem? Okay, let me rewrite the question. What would happen if I divided this side by negative 3 and this side by negative 3? Do you see that I would have x minus 4 equal negative 2? It's a negative 2. Looks like a dot. And then wouldn't I add 4? Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. Okay, so I get the same answer, but different routes. Okay, the check on this is going to be the same no matter which route you took. I rewrite the equation. Instead of the x, I put a parenthesis and I'm tucking in a 2. Negative 3. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Think of that as 2 plus a negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6, and that does equal a positive 6. Alrighty, this guy. The 5x minus 1 is all tangled up with this negative 3, division of negative 3. So I need to multiply this whole thing by negative 3. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. These negative 3's would cancel, leaving 5x minus 1. I want to add 1 to both sides. So I get 13 equal 5x. Okay, well, this is our first kind of gross looking one. If I have 5 times x, wouldn't I take a fifth of both sides or divide by 5? Well, 13 doesn't divide by 5. Guess what? That's our answer. 13 fifths. Okay, now the check for this is going to be ugly because we've got a fraction inside of all this junk. Okay, so let's rewrite this problem. Instead of the x, instead of the x, I put a parenthesis. I'm going to put 13 fifths in here. So I've got negative 4 equals Don't these 5s cancel? And aren't we just left with 13 minus 1? So I've got negative 4 equals 13 minus 1 is 12 over negative 3. And isn't 12 over negative 3 just equal to negative 4? So negative 4 equals negative 4. All righty, number 7. 2 ways to handle this problem. Okay, we could I'm just recopying it. We could distribute that into both of those. Oopsie, sorry, I'm going to scooch that up. We could distribute that negative 4 into both of those. That would leave us a negative 12 plus 8m equal negative 12. Now, if we add this 12 here and here, we get 8m equals 0. We're going to take an eighth, or divide by 8. 0 divided by 8 is 0. Or, let me just recopy the problem. Can't we divide by negative 4 here and here, leaving us 3 minus 2m equal 3? Subtract 3 to both sides. Negative 2m equals 0. Don't I still get 0? Okay, now the check, it doesn't matter which method you did, the check is the same. You're going to plug 0 in for the m. Let me scooch that up. Negative 4, 3 minus 2 times something equals negative 12. Okay, I'm going to toss in a 0 here. Negative 4, 3 minus, isn't 2 times 0, 0? This would be negative 4 times 3. And isn't negative 4 times 3 negative 12? And that does equal the negative 12 on that right side. All righty. This one, we're getting kind of bigger as we go here. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this. 6x minus 12 plus 6 equal 12. Okay, I need to combine these two because they're on the left side of the equal sign together. Negative 12 plus 6. So I've got 6x. That would be a minus 6 or a plus a negative 6. Add 6 to both sides. 6x equal 18. Take a sixth or divide by 6. Take a sixth or divide by 6. It means the same thing. A sixth of 6x is 1x, and a sixth of 18 is 3. Let's do a check. Write the original problem down. In place of the x, you're going to pop in a 3. So 3, this would be 6 minus 4. Scooch that up. That would be 3 times 2 plus 6 equal 12. 3 times 2 happens before you add 6. 6 plus 6 equal 12. 6 plus 6, yep, is 12, equal to 12. All right, this one could be done a different way too, like I've described here. You would have needed to subtract 6 first, and then you could divide both sides by the 3. I will never make you do it one way or the other on that type, okay? All right, now we're starting to get into some fractions. Yuck. Okay, so I want to get to the 2x. I need to subtract the 1/3 from both sides. So that would be 2x equals 19 2/3. Yuck. Okay, I'm going to make that 19 2/3 into an improper fraction. 3 times 19 plus 2, that comes out to be 59 thirds. Okay, now if I have 2x, I'm going to take a half of the whole thing. Well, half of 2x is x. Now let's do this off to the side. 1/2 of 59 thirds. Do you see 59 sixths? 59 sixths. All right, let's do a check. 2x plus 1/3 equal 20. 2 parenthesis plus 1/3 equal 20. 59 sixths goes in there. All right, this 2 and the 6 can cross cancel, leaving a 1 and a 3. So I've got 59 thirds plus 1/3. Isn't that 60 thirds? Well, what's 60 thirds? 60 divided by 3 is 20. Okay, that's a little bit harder than you're going to have on a quiz or a test, for sure. Okay, number 10 is about the hardest you'll have. Okay. All right, so let's see. Your first step, we're trying to get to that 2/3. We're going to subtract 6, leaving 2/3 x equal 8. All right, well, what would happen if I multiplied this by 3? Wouldn't I have 2x equal 24? And then wouldn't I need to multiply this by a half or divide by 2? Same thing, x equal 12. Okay, I'm going to show you a shortcut. 2/3 x plus 6 equal 14. Okay, your first step, same as the last one, was to subtract 6. 2/3 x equal 8. All right, do you see how I multiplied by 3 and divided by 2 in separate steps? What if I multiplied by the reciprocal? Watch this. What if I multiplied? Aren't I multiplying by 3 and dividing by 2 all in one swoop? And doesn't this come to be 1x? Isn't 3/2 the multiplicative inverse of 2/3? Wouldn't this be 6/6, which is 1x? Okay, I must do it to this side too. Okay, so that gives me 1x. Now think of this as 8/1. The 2 and the 8 can cross cancel, leaving a 4 times 3. That would be 12. Okay, I better be getting the same answer as the non-shortcut. Okay. All right, let's do the check. 2/3 x plus 6 equal 14. 2/3 parentheses plus 6 equal 14. I'm putting a 12 in the parentheses. I'm going to put a 12/1. Okay, doesn't this 3 and 12 go 1 and 4 times? Do you see 8/1 plus 6? 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 equal 14. All right, we're almost there, guys. This one's not too bad. The 3x minus the x, those are on the same side of the equal sign. Let's make that a 2x plus 2 equal 10. And then we just subtract 2. 2x equal 8. Now we're going to take a half or divide by 2. Doesn't matter how you write that. Multiplying by a half or dividing by 2 is the same thing. So x equal 4. Let's do the check. 3x plus 2 minus x equal 10. Okay, now check this out. We've got 2 places to put the 4 into. We have 2 places the x shows up, right here and right here. Okay, so this is going to be 12 plus 2 minus 4 equal 10. 12 plus 2 is 14 minus 4 equal 10. 14 minus 4, 10 equal 10. Alrighty, number 12 is pretty ugly. 12 is not on a test or quiz. Okay, it's a good challenge and homework, but it's not something we need to demonstrate knowledge of on a quiz or a test. All right, I need to do 1/4 x plus 2/3 x. So I'm going to do that off to the side. 1/4 plus 2/3. I need a common denominator of 12. I'm going to multiply by 3 here. I'm going to multiply by 4 here. And I get 11/12. Okay, so this is going to be 11/12 x minus 7 equal 15. Add 7 to both sides. 11/12 x equal 22. Okay, I'm going to take that shortcut that I described up here. Okay, don't I need to multiply by 12 and then divide by 11? The reciprocal of this? Couldn't I do that all at once? Multiply by the reciprocal here and here, both sides. All right, so 12/11 times 11/12 is 1x. That was the whole point of that. Now take a look at this. The 11 and the 22. That leaves a 1 and that leaves a 2. So 2 times 12 is 24. Now let's check this answer out. We have 2 places we have to tuck in that 24. We have to tuck it in here, here. Oopsies, let me scooch it up. So the 24 has to tuck in here and here. All right, 1/4 of 24, you can also think of it like this. That would be 6 minus 7. Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. 3 into that goes 8 times 2 times 8, 16. Okay, now be careful here. 6 minus 7, that's -1 plus 16 equal 15. -1 plus 16, 15 equal 15. It checks out. Okie dokie. There is your 4.1C. Thanks, guys.